I grew up in Charlestown. I play a character called Danny on Instagram.
Calling me on my first day out of jail. I had some outstanding warrants, and Mayor Wu's privatized army, aka the Boston Police Department, bagged me up, and I spent a week in Nash. Some Cambridge kids on the unit were f***ing with me until I told them Millie's, the rapper, was my cousin, and they f***ing left me alone. Dude's a straight G, speaks for the streets, and he's really my cousin.
Ain't got a moment when they see you down, just know they love it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, B. Luke. I got a special guest with me today. Some of you might recognize the face. The man's viral. So why don't you tell the people your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself in this viral content you have going on right now.
Got you. My name's Jake Scali. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I grew up in Charlestown. I play a character called Danny on Instagram. I'm a reformed addict. I have 7 years clean from the dope, almost 4 from the subs and Klonopins, and I just make comedy about it now.
Absolutely.
Amongst other stuff, you know.
So talk a little bit about how the development of this character happened. Did you see somebody? Like,
No,
how does it happen? What's the genesis of it?
Me and my girl, we were just like joking around about it one night. She was like laughing about how like I used to just like nod out around the house, but like whether it was in the fucking refrigerator, in the kitchen making a sandwich or something, like just dumb shit. I used to just fucking fall asleep everywhere standing up. So we were laughing about it, and I was like, yo, like I want to make like a little skit about this, because the first Danny video I did, it was like I came in and I'm like, the fuck, Danny, you spent all the Christmas money on Klonopins, you piece of shit. And he's like, no, I didn't.
Fucking piece of shit, Danny. You spent all of our Christmas money on Klonopins.
What? No, I ain't.
And then it just, that second one, dude, once I hit the nod in the fridge, it just went crazy, and I was just like, all right, people like the fucking nod thing, and I kind of incorporated it, you know?
Why do you think it was so relatable, I think, to many people?
Bro, because I feel like in Boston, especially Massachusetts and New England in general, like everybody got someone in their family that has an addiction problem, whether it's alcohol, drugs, fucking gambling, you name it, you know? So I feel like it's a very relatable thing. Everyone's got that crazy fucking Danny in their family, you know?
So what do you say to the people who kind of like, maybe they look at it like, oh, that's not funny, they don't think it's funny, and they may not understand where you're coming from with it?
Yeah, no, mostly I feel like it's, a lot of it's like people who don't understand it. Like most people that have been through it find it funny, because if you can't laugh at yourself in the darkest times in life, bro, like you're just gonna live in that misery forever. Like you're gonna look back on that shit and feel ashamed of yourself. You're gonna feel just like shit. I like to make fun of it and just like how I was at that point. And I feel like other people that are in recovery, they know, because they've been through that shit too. Most of the people who get mad, it'll be like someone who's lost like a child and stuff, and like that's fucking horrible. I don't wish that upon anybody. I have kids and stuff, so I understand that that's like a touchy subject with some people. But mostly the reason I do it is because I like to spread awareness about what's going on, dude. A lot of like politicians and these rich people, like they create these problems, and then they get to fucking go out to the suburbs and live in their comfy little fucking houses with their quiet little lives, and we the people have to live amongst these fucking problems that these people create. So reminding them that it's still a thing, and they're going on Instagram in the morning taking a shit, and they're like, oh, look at, it's gonna remind them every single day that it's a problem that needs to be fixed, you know?
And you work in recovery too.
I do.
So like, what is your role? How does that work?
So I work with Rockland Recovery. I make their content and stuff. I do videos. Shout out to Eddie McGrath. Rockland Recovery is the greatest recovery center ever in the entire world. I never wanted to do the recovery stuff, and Joey Lawler, actually, he's from Charlestown. He fucking introduced me to Eddie McGrath and everything, and they showed me the program, and I fell in love with it. And I told Eddie, I was like, I want to be here, bro. I love this shit, you know?
So what about like sponsorships? How does that work? Do you have a sponsor? Are you someone's sponsor? How does it work?
I'm sponsored. I do a bunch of little like brand deals and stuff like that. Right now I'm sponsored by Rockland Recovery, so they've been sponsoring me. I just went to New York and we did like a little sponsored video. I have King Palm, shout out to them. They're like a little organic like hemp wrap blunt thing. That's funny. I'm sponsored by a recovery center and a blunt wrap thing. I got an edible company that sponsors me, and then Yum Berries from New York. It's a cannabis company, so I make videos for them too. Shout out Yum Berries, Big Uncle Smokey.
So, I mean, how would you answer the question that if somebody seems that's a little bit contradictory to what you're doing? How do you look at cannabis, I guess, in general when it comes to that?
So I smoked weed a lot, dude. Like I honestly feel like smoking weed got me off of the bad drugs. Like when I was going through my shit, like I was one of those people, like, I couldn't fucking deal with, like, the stress and everything of life, like, because when you're an addict, bro, like, whenever something happens, you just run and get high, and it kind of all melts away. So I was just having to fucking learn how to, like, adapt to life without running to drugs, and weed was one of the things that really helped me, like, relax. I'm a very high energy person. I get anxiety and shit. But no, it's like, to the recovery thing, I stopped smoking weed, so I haven't smoked weed in a good month. I'm trying to get it all out of my system and stuff. Yeah, it is contradictory. It's like, for the thing with sobriety and everything, it is contradictory. But money's money, dude. I got 2 kids at home. I got another one coming. Anybody that's going to give me money, dude, if you're paying, I'm playing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wasn't even, like, honestly referring to that type of sponsorship. I was more talking about in, like, the AA, NA sense.
Yeah.
Is that something that you do personally?
So
and do you also, even having so much clean time, do you still have someone that sponsors you above? Like,
so I don't have anybody that sponsors me. So dude, here's the funny thing. When I got clean, I never went to meetings or anything like that. I wanted to shy so away from that shit because I was just trying to, like, not make it part of my life anymore. I feel like if you get away from it, you can kind of, like, move on and shit. But again, like, going to Rockland and seeing what they do, they really showed me the whole recovery thing. I took on a kid that I'm sponsoring right now. I'm doing a lot of good work with him. If I could do that for more people and get them, like, into a program, like, I have my own strategy of doing shit. Everybody's different. Like, Noah will probably tell you I'm fucking psychotic. I just have a crazy way of doing shit, but it's the way I learned to do it, and I'm trying to teach him the philosophies and shit that I learned along the way to hopefully help him so he could help other people, you know?
Okay, so it's one thing too to get clean, but to help other people, why was that something that, like, you wanted to be a part of?
Just because I feel like so many people in the world, it's almost like a selfish thing, dude. Like, people just write you off, bro. Like, I was written off, and when you walk in a fucking room and people treat you like dog shit just based off the way you look or what you're wearing or, like, anything, like, those people deserve a second chance in life, bro. Like, if you get a little spark of confidence or you do something that makes you proud, like, you deserve a second chance to, like, go amongst these people and fucking live your life again. And I think it's sad that a lot of people are counted out. So trying to get people the confidence and show them, like, there's more than life to fucking, you know, there's more in life than just sitting around getting fucked up, like.
Yeah. I want to rewind it a little bit, man.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about, like, what your home dynamic was like growing up. Did you have both parents in the house? Any other siblings?
So
what was that like?
I have a little sister. My parents got divorced when I was like 11 years old, and I lived in Florida with my dad for a little bit, and then I moved back to Winthrop and then back to Charlestown again. I was born in Charlestown, and I moved to Winthrop when I was a little kid. We lived there for a while, and then when my parents got divorced, like, they made money and stuff in real estate, and then they went through a vicious divorce, dude, and just lost everything. Like, we had big house, boats, like, all that shit, and they just fucking lost it all.
And
you know.
you went with your mom, or?
So after that,
work?
I went with my mom for a little bit. So after I moved back from Florida, I was like probably 12 years old at the time. I lived with my mom until I was like 13 and a half, almost 14, and then I moved back with my dad to Charlestown, and I went to high school and everything there.
At what time do you start, I guess, smoking weed? Was that the first thing you did, or was it not even?
Yeah, so I was smoking weed, like, even in the suburbs, like, when I was living in Winthrop and shit. I feel like that's where it started. I skateboarded when I was a kid, so it's little skater rats, like, smoking fucking joints under the half pipe and shit. But, like, I feel like my substance abuse shit really started, like, when I moved to Charlestown, because it's just, you hang out with the wrong crowd anywhere, bro. You're gonna get into fucking dumb shit, you know. And like angel dust is prevalent out there. Like, a lot of people smoke fucking crack. Like, the perks were big when I was a kid because it was right after the oxy era, going into the dope era. Drugs were just huge back then, dude. Whether you were fucking selling them or doing them, you know.
Do you think it was, like, normalized?
Yeah, 100%. You become numb to it, dude. Especially, like, who I was hanging out with. Like, I hung out with a lot of kids in the projects, and we were down there just fucking making money off it, bro. You know. And like, you see that shit, like, people shooting up dope in fucking hallways and in the trap house when you're just chilling with someone having a conversation, like, and they're fucking sticking a needle in their arm, nodding out, and looking back on it, I'm like, it's really fucked up. Like, I'd be really pissed off if my kid was doing that, you know, which my dad was. He was always afraid, but yeah.
At what point do you kind of, like, look at yourself and realize, like, that there's an issue there, that you're caught up in this addiction? You ever have that moment?
Yeah, I feel like for every addict, bro, like, you have those moments when you're in active addiction where you'll look in the mirror and you'll be like, what am I doing, like, with my life? I'm a piece of shit. But then you just start feeding that demon where you're like, yo, I'm gonna be the fucking illest piece of shit to ever be a piece of shit. Like, and then you just go more into it, bro, because you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna be a scumbag. I'm going fucking all in, like, fucking go hard or go home, you know?
7 years clean, right?
Yeah.
Was this your first time attempting sobriety during your journey?
It was like, so I was when I got off of dope, I had a doctor write me a prescription for Klonopins, dude, and I was doing really good. Like after the fucking dope, I was on the Suboxone clinic, and then the Klonopins, dude, just picked it right back up for me, bro. And fucking those are.
Was it like a trigger? Was that something that you did while you were like actively using?
So I would do like Xanax and shit like that before. So before I got into heroin, bro, like the fake fucking Xanax and all that shit was like very big. Like they had all those little pressed fucking fentanyl Xanax everywhere. Those kind of got me into it. I'd smoke perks here and there with my friends, and then one day when I was all fucked up, dude, on Xans, I tried some dope, and I just ended up loving it.
Wow. So what kind of, I guess, a lot of times on this journey, we tend to cause destruction in our lives and the people around us. Was that something that happened in your life? Like, what kind of
100%.
Destruction did you leave behind?
I was always stealing. Like, I would steal from my mother, which is horrible. Like, I've stolen from friends, family, like, just fucking stupid shit, dude. Like, my attitude was crazy. Like, I was really mean when I was an addict, whether it was the Klonopins make you like fucking, you get like weird, like blurred out rage. And then on dope, you kind of just like a piece of shit if you can't have what you want. Like when I get sick, dude, I'd get fucking irritated if I couldn't get money, and then I'd do whatever I could for money. So yeah, I've burned some bridges, but like being sober and everything and being clean, you go back and you try to like reconcile shit you did. Like My Name Is Earl, like you know, go back, make a little list of people you fucked over, and then try to make it right. And there has been people that I've really tried to make it right, help them out with stuff. I'm not going to go into it, but you got to mend those bridges.
For the most part, do you think most people are willing to forgive and give other people second chances? What's been your experience with that?
I feel like it all depends on the person, dude.
Yeah.
Some people aren't like so willing to forgive, and they have that whole philosophy that people don't change. And it is true, like there are some people that don't change, but I feel like if someone has like that crazy fucking something like traumatic that happens in their life, bro, and like they really have an experience that fucking reshapes the way they think or humbles them, like you change throughout that process, bro. 1,000%. I don't care what anyone says.
Absolutely. And a lot of times we hurt people, and we change and we try to ask for forgiveness, but some people aren't willing to budge on that. And I guess sometimes we got to kind of accept that and be willing to forgive yourself. You know what I mean?
You can't feel bad for yourself, bro. Like you got to know that you tried to make it right, and you can't fucking change the past.
That's it. I mean, you can't spend the rest of your life feeling guilty and wither away and just waste this whole experience here. You do only live once. So.
Yeah, you are the fucking energy that you put into your thoughts, bro. Like if you're putting a lot of negative energy into your thoughts, everything in your world and everything is just gonna be fucking negative, dude. Like chaos. If you think positively about happy shit, things go better. I firmly believe that.
So, how did you do as a student in high school?
I was fucking awful, dude. I didn't want to be in school. I just wanted to be out in the fucking hood with my friends, making money and fucking doing gangster shit. Like. Here was my day. I'd fucking wake up. My grandmother would make me like a little fucking egg sandwich or something. I'd walk to school. I'd fucking go in, hit my first class, like homeroom or something. I'd go like smoke a cigarette in the hallway. And then I would just leave before lunchtime, and I'd be out in the project smoking with my friends and fucking making money, bro.
So what ends up happening? Do you end up graduating from high school?
Nah, I didn't. I don't even have my GED yet, bro, which is crazy.
Okay.
I was just a terrible student. Like, I don't know if it's my ADHD. Like, I could understand everything that they were talking about in school. Like, I'm not stupid, but it's just like the getting me to fucking sit still and do papers and all that. Like, I've never been good at that, bro. I'm a fucking antsy.
So you're not going to school. Like, what's the plan with life? Are you getting a job? What's going through your mind?
So, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know anything. It was more like scary, like thinking of the future, like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? And then you get older and you see your friends moving on and fucking making money and having good jobs and graduating college and all this stuff, and you kind of feel like left behind. So
at any point, do you get in any trouble with the law? Do they ever try to run up on you?
I've had like a couple of run-ins, dude, just like minor fucking bullshit, but nothing crazy. Like, I've never been locked up or in jail, just like
you ever been on probation?
When I was a kid, I was on like chins and all that stuff.
Okay.
Just stupid little shit, like getting in fights and fucking just acting out, sneaking out of the house and shit, just being an
So
idiot.
A lot of times I hear, you got to hit this bottom, right? It's tough for people to just get help. What was like what was your experience? How did you eventually come to the realization that you wanted to get sober, and how did that work?
So there was one night, bro, I was all fucked up on my stairs, and I was doing Suboxone and Klonopins, and I was just sitting there smoking a blunt, and I remember everything started getting like foggy for me because I was sitting there nodding out, and I get like, bro, I was like nodding like this, like sucking my own dick, and I tumbled because I remember I just blacked out, bro. I don't even remember falling, and when I landed, I was at the bottom. There was 5 fucking concrete stairs, just mad hard. I woke up at the bottom of the stairs. I don't even know how long I was laying there, like nothing, bro. I had a fucking goose egg on my head the size of a fucking baseball.
Wow.
And my shoulder was just like, bro, I had I almost tore my rotator cuff. It was like an impingement that was in the muscle, and it was all fucked up. I couldn't move my arm. And I remember going inside, and then I was looking at all my kids' like toys and stuff that like we had in the living room. And I'm looking around thinking like, what the fuck am I doing, dude? Like, I have 2 kids. I have no job. I have no skill, and I'm just getting high every day. Like, where the fuck does this end for me, for them, like for anybody? And I feel like that was my rock bottom, bro. Like, I hit a wall, and I just wanted to be better for them. Like the first like fucking year of my son's life, I was all fucked up on the Klonopins. Like, I don't even remember him taking his first steps, bro. Like,
wow, that's crazy.
I have videos of like my fucking girl took them, like of him trying to climb up on me and walk, and I'm just like, oh, like go away, like you know, like I didn't even know he was trying to walk. I'm like, get off of me, because I thought he was like pulling on me. He was trying to stand up and like take his first steps, and I was just. Yeah, just stupid shit like that, bro.
Did you have to go to a detox and stuff? Or?
No, my father fucking gave me like an at-home detox,
oh,
dude.
jeez. Cuffed you to the radiator type of deal.
Nah, he just stayed in the room with me, and it was like, if you leave this room, like, you're gonna be homeless type shit. Like, he was telling me, like, bro, I'll take all your stuff and fucking throw. Like, if you're not gonna try, like, you're out of the fucking house, you know?
I mean, I'm sure you had a lot of time to self-reflect. I mean, what's going on with that thought process?
The detox process, like, how I got off of dope, bro, is I fucking did dope right before I went to the clinic. I fucking did a bag of dope, and they tell you you're not supposed to fucking do it for 12 hours before you take the Suboxone, or you could get precipitated withdrawals. Bro, I didn't fucking listen. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I fucking went there. They were like, oh, you sure you haven't taken anything? I'm like, I'm positive. They put it on my mouth, dude. Like, fucking 10 minutes later, bro, it was like excruciating pain. It's like the worst fucking dope sick you could possibly get. You're hot, you're cold, your fucking stomach hurts, like your bones fucking hurt. Like, you just feel like you're dying of cancer pretty much. Like, it's fucked up. But I feel like that's what scared me, like, really bad, was those withdrawals. That was like my detox. Next day I woke up, and I took a Suboxone. It was a little bit better. My dad stayed with me like a couple days. I just stayed in bed watching fucking Game of Thrones.
I love that show.
And I watched War of the Worlds and some other fucking stupid shit.
What about overdosing? Is that part of your story?
I've went out, yeah, dude. I went out on my computer and fucking, I headbutted the keyboard. And my girl found me because on the Mac, like when you hold the fucking, the keyboard down, it makes like a noise. So she came in and I'm like on the fucking, on the keyboard, dude. She freaks out. I had Narcan in the room, so she gave me a little fucking, I got back to it. But yeah, bro, that was scary. You don't know what's going on. Like, it's like taking a fucking nap. Like, everything kind of just goes black, and then you wake up dope sick, because once that Narcan hits you, dude, you instantly fucking, it's like a shot of adrenaline or something. Like, it just goes away, and you're like, what the fuck? Like,
so you're sitting, you're at your dad's, you're getting clean and all that. Like, what's the next step after that for you?
So, dude, I didn't really have a plan or anything. Like, it was just kind of stay out of fucking trouble. Like, try to do the right thing for my kids, but I didn't have a plan. I was working weird jobs. I worked for this guy doing like maintenance in a fucking apartment building. He was a weirdo. I worked for a tree company for this other dude. He was a good dude. Just kind of bouncing around between odds. I was doing garage doors with my friends sometimes.
Yeah.
Weird little, anything to make money, you know?
At any point, do you start to like work the steps and all of that, or?
I feel like it was just, I kind of figured it out on my own. Like, I wasn't completely like stone sober through that. Like, I was still smoking weed, but that was helping me not do like other bad shit. Like, you know, I'm like, in my head at the time, I'm like, well, it's better I'm doing this than fucking, you know, sticking a needle in my arm or fucking smoking crack or taking a pill. Like, I was one of those weird addicts, bro. I'd like to do anything. Like, if there's something there and everyone's doing it, like, I would do it. Like, everyone's smoking crack, let me take a hit of crack. Like, everyone's smoking dust, let me take a hit of dust.
So if you were to attribute like one thing to your sobriety, what do you think it would be the most important thing for you?
Like what got me, like?
Or what keeps you sober? What
my kids.
Your kids?
My kids, 1,000%. I think of it, dude, I was in a meeting like a few weeks ago, and this guy was saying that once his kids grew up, he kind of felt like bored, like he didn't have purpose, and it was hard for him to deal with these things. So it made me think about myself, and I'm like, if my kids are my reason for staying, you know, sober and doing the right thing and staying clean, like what happens when they get older, you know, like that's for everybody, bro, because your babies eventually leave the fucking nest like birds, and you have to figure out what you're gonna do with your time, you know.
So what's your favorite thing about being a father?
Just the whole thing, dude. I love getting to relive like childhood shit through my kids, like whether it's watching movies like fucking like watching all those old Disney movies and shit, and going to fucking Canopy Lake or Disney, and just having it feel like the first time again because they're so happy. It's awesome, dude. It puts a cool even going to the zoo. Like I'd try to go to the zoo like before I had kids, like when I'd be all fucked up and bored, and I'd go to the zoo.
Right.
It's way different when you have kids. Way better.
The joy that they have and everything.
Yeah, bro.
What are you looking forward to the most as far as the journey of fatherhood?
Just fucking, I want them to just be good. I want to just know that I did a good job. I want them to have a good education, just do the right thing. I want them to have opportunities that I didn't fucking have, you know, and just be around good people.
So what advice would you give to somebody who's struggling with addiction right now, and they want to get help?
Just know what you're fighting for, and know that you want it for yourself. Like if you don't want it, it's never gonna, like, you have to be the one. It can't be everybody else. Did I fucking like?
There you go.
It can't be everybody else saying like, oh, we want you to get clean. You have to know deep down inside that you want that shit, and you have to have something to fight for, whether it's yourself, your family, like anything. You just have to have a light at the end of that tunnel that you're fucking working toward, you know?
Yeah. So what about God? Is that something that's part of your life? Like, to what extent?
It wasn't before. Over the last few years, like it can't be everybody else saying like, oh, we want you to get clean. You have to know deep down inside that you want that shit, and you have to have something to fight for, whether it's yourself, your family, like anything. You just have to have a light at the end of that tunnel that you're fucking working toward, you know?
Yeah.
It's my kids, dude. Like I feel like that got me more religious. Like I start thinking like, why am I this lucky? Like why do I have like 2 beautiful children, a nice home, like my fucking videos do really good, and I start thinking like something out there is watching out for me, you know? And that got me thinking more about religion and everything, and just you got to be a good person, dude. I feel like a lot of the stuff in the Bible correlates to stuff now. It's just, it was told like fucking 10,000 years ago, but it's a very knowledgeable book, and I've been trying to get more into it, you know? So
you got a pretty big social media platform. Like, where do you see that going in the future? What are some of your goals with that?
So I have a couple new series that I'm going to start. Me and Harvard's Eye, I don't know if you know Harvard's Eye.
Yep.
We're going to be doing a buddy cop show. This is kind of under wraps right now. We're still working on it. But he's going to be playing my partner. We're going to have other Boston comedians and influencers playing the criminals. So whether we go serve a warrant or something, it's going to be Shock Gorilla style.
Okay.
And it's going to be like kind of like Reno 911, but with Boston police. And then I had another idea for one that I want to do that's kind of like an SNL skit, where I want to have like all these, I have like a lot of funny people that I know, whether they're doing music, like fucking motivational speaking or influencer stuff. I want to get like a lot of these crazy dudes that I know together to fucking reenact like scenes from movies and plays, and make like an actual production and show out of it, so everybody has like something fun and to look forward to that could be like a creative like workshop type of thing for people.
So also you as well as being in front of the camera, you're behind the camera a little bit too. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and what you got going on with that?
So I do all the video stuff for Rockland. I've been trying to do like music videos and stuff and get more into behind the camera. My dad was always like behind the camera. He directed films and stuff, and fucking that's where I always learned it. I would watch him do it when I was a kid, and I would always like see him editing stuff, and I'd be like, oh, like you should have did this. You should have filmed it like this. You should have did this. So that's how I learned what my process, dude.
So most of my audience probably already knows about you or where to find you. But I guess for the people who don't, why don't you tell them like where they can find you on social media and all of that?
You go on Instagram, just type in Jake__ Scali. You're gonna see a little cartoon guy in a jumpsuit on the fucking electric chair holding a beer. That's me.
And okay, so what would you say? What would you want the main message to be for somebody to get out of hearing your story?
Just fucking stop being a piece of shit. Because you don't have to be. You could turn around and do the right thing, you know? Like, you don't have to fucking let mistakes from the past or anything you're doing in that moment define who you are in the future or as a person, you know?
Okay, well, if you had any closing words for the audience or anything that you wanted to touch on, maybe we didn't get a chance to.
Stay watching the Bounce Back podcast. This is one of my favorite shows in the area. Check your fucking boy out. Check out Rockland Recovery. And yeah, dude, go Boston.
Hell yeah. Well, Jake, I appreciate you for coming, guys. Jake Scali right there. B. Luke, this is the Bounce Back podcast, guys. Remember, it is what it is. What's next is what you make it. On that note, we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.
got a moment.